Hi everyone and welcome back. So in this video we are going to talk about module federation with the micro frontend. So in this module we are diving into the most exciting topic. The micro frontend, which is widely popular, but I know this has not been done right, and there are only a special use cases where we want to do micro frontend. Otherwise, people just stick to one stack and they just build the whole application in that case only. So have you ever worked on the messy front-end application where like deployment takes forever? Everything is coupled, teams step on each other toes, but one team is breaking the build of another team, right? So in that case, we always think of using the micro front end. What is micro front end is different independently deployable applications rendered on a page together, right? So in this demo, what we are going to do, we are going to understand what is module federation and how to set up this, how the communication and the best practices. So module federation, you can understand like there are three different application: host application and the two child applications. Okay, first of all, let's try to understand the challenges, why we need micro front end and module federation. Monolith, because even the backend is splitted into microservices at some extent, but the front end is always stuck to like one big monolith front end backed by maybe there are big teams, then it's really a risk. And now we are actually moving into the monorepo structures, right, where multiple teams are adding the code. But in some cases, when the front end is a big single monolith inside a monorepo, lots of developers are working together, a lot of merge conflict and all those things keeps happening. So the goal is independent front end application where all features in one build. Why monolith front end fail? You already know, like single deployment pipeline, one bug can break everything. Even single bug which is not dependent on any other feature breaks the landing page, right? So monolith is failing in that case. But I'm not a big fan of module federation, first of all, but I want to show the use case which is really important. Module federation concept. So divide and conquer. Split the app into independently deployable modules or independently deployable applications. Build and deploy separately. It's like same as the microservices, but we don't aggregate. In like graphical context, we aggregate the microservices response into a single gateway microservice response. But here, build and deploy separately, and then we will compose them on the fly. So this is the host application, main render application, which will interface with the remote and expose application. So what we are doing, there is a one application app exposing the component for others to consume. So there is a cart component, there is a product category component, product list component. They are exposing those components so that the host application or host can consume it. I mean, and shared dependencies like expose specific components of modules shared by the remote. It's something like you can say three different applications or two different applications you wanted to render on the third application. So one is a host, another will be a different applications. They will expose the remote components which we will render on the other page. So monorepo structure, why we need it in the monorepo? First of all, in monorepo, different teams can work on different projects like shell. One team is managing the product, another team is managing the cart. Clear separation. We have different folders like apps or packages, shell, apps, product, apps, cart. We can use these monorepo tools, modern tools like Annex, Monorepo, PNPM, Workspace, and all. So we need to define the shell. You can say the mounter, where we are going to mount the child applications. It is including the dynamic code loading. It load the remote component only when needed for optimal performance, and it's centralized runtime configuration. You can consider it like a single React application with a header, product, and cart. And product and cart are being rendered from the other independently deployable application, right? So setting up the remote, like we have two child applications, products and cart. Each remote app share its own React component, and remotes are built separately and can be deployed. So here in this example, what we are going to do is we are going to have a simple example where we have a cart application exposed on port 3000 to React app, product remote 3001, and they both will a shell application which is going to render the remote product and remote cart. And we are going to use you can use Webpack module federation and all these things. Cross communication strategies, custom event for simple messaging. You can also do some kind of communication across the different components which we are doing. So let's now take a look onto the project structure, how we are going to utilize this thing. So this is the module federation. A simple demo I prepared. Even I struggled a lot of challenges while setting up this simple project because I'm not much familiar with this, but I wanted to showcase it. So this is first of all Monorepo. PNPM workspace, it is saying there are apps and there are packages. So inside apps, I have three applications. Shell is a host application. Okay. You can say this is a shell module federation plugin we are using, and I'm using RSPack, which is faster than Webpack. It's like the bundler. It creates the build, right? So we are creating actually host application runs on 3000, and there is a product and a cart application runs on two other different port application. And we are using RSPack build tool because it is 10 times faster than Webpack, better federation support, all these things. Now, if you see this shell app configuration, this is the root level application. What it is doing is here in this module federation name is shell module federation. These are the remote. So these are the remote configuration. It is loading from the product and from the cart. 3002 mfconfigs.json. When we run all these application, they will expose the manifest which we are loading them. And here it is creating the singleton instance. So here remotes where to load the external modules from shared. React must be singleton. Only one instance of React will be there. And here eager load immediately. So all these things has been defined here. Now this is the product remote configuration. If you see in the RS build, name, file name, it is exposing these components. Module federation name is cart. React is singleton because the name is cart, the same name we are using here in the shell. Product and cart, same we have a product. Inside RS build configuration, name is product, file name is remote entry. This is the bundle file they are exposing, which is being used at the shell, right? So these are the two components which we are loading, product list and product cart. So let's see what is happening at the root component here in the app.tsx. Let's try to see this. Here I'm trying to import these two components. Now where this component definition is coming from this module federation. From the cart, this is the app name. I'm importing product list. From this cart, I'm importing cart component. Cart is like a placeholder because that's identifier in the RS build. Product is identifier. Then there is a product list and cart is a component. So inside this, if you see product list, right? Here inside cart, these are the components which are being exposed, and these we are importing. That's it. On just two different routes, we are just rendering these product list and cart component using just a simple lazy loading because these are modules are loaded over the network, right? So this is like two different components, right? Loading the remote modules. We are just using simple lazy loading in the app.ts. In the shell, we are using simple lazy loading. So react.lazy load only when they need it. Show loading state because it's a runtime loading. Handle the failed error boundary and all those things. Now what is happening? I think error boundary, we haven't defined it, but we can define it. So inside a product list, it's just a simple component. I think some mock product and it is just rendering it, right? Similarly, the cart component, there should be nothing much in the cart component. Simple add to cart button. That's it. I think we are not doing component communication here. It is just showing the add to cart item, handle add to cart. It is adding window.add event listener, add to cart, remove from cart. That's it. So cross app communication. I mean, product card dot, let me see if we are doing any product card. So here we are actually listening to the add to cart and remove from cart. I mean, these are the two different components we are going to render on the tabs. So how they will communicate? So we are actually using just a Windows JavaScript library window.dispatch event, add to cart and remove from cart, and we are just passing the object. So this is how the cross communication is happening. I mean, I don't recommend this. I don't like it. But this is how you can do in the module federation. Add to cart, you just emit the event and you will just handle it. Now, how all these things are bundled together. Every important thing is these configurations. If anything is not right, it won't run it, because I struggled to set up this thing. rs build config module federation. Let's try to run it, because this is pnpm workspace. Here we can run all these things together using all these, because there are dev, right? Dev product, dev shell, dev card. These are the three applications we need to run. And using this pnpm, we can run all parallelly. It will run this and pnpm run dev. So we can just do npm run dev. So it is going to run all these things parallelly, right? Now manifest links. These are the manifest links it has exposed. We can also take a look on to what these manifest files contains. So this is the manifest file of one application. I mean, name is product, remote entry file is this, global name is products. This is where the public path is. These are the shared component. It exposes this component, product list component, and this is how these components will be loaded, and the product card component. Okay, same you will see on 3002, if I'm not wrong. Yes, 3002 is the card component, right? So both are these being loaded on the shell component, shell application. Now when I run the application, 3000, let me show you, inspect network. So it is loading this manifest JSON, right? Now if I click on product, it will show me all the product. When you click on the cart, it will show me the cart component, because already the component has already been loaded. You can just click on add to cart, right? Home. So this product app and cart app. So using this, you can actually try to have some kind of a system of module federation, kind of a micro frontend, where two React applications are being mounted as a two different routes on a one single host application. So overall, this is the basic setup. I have shown this earlier video with the Webpack, but now this is RS build, which is I think much better, but getting the configuration right is a little bit challenge still. File name, what it is exposing, all these things. So this is like a kind of a micro frontend setup, which you can also have, because one is a shell application and two applications are exposing components that we are rendering onto the host application on different routes. I will share this GitHub repo. This is the video which I wanted to cover with the Monorepo setup. I mean, how to have a micro frontend module federations with the Monorepo.